Hello, friends. This is Roni Haskell, and this is for the Love of Real Estate podcast. Today, I've got Steve, who is the executive director at DREAM. He is here today to tell us more about the vision of Summerville. Steven, thank you for joining me today.
Yeah, happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me, Ryan.
You betcha. So for the love of real estate, we think of real estate in terms of a very localized market, and that's exactly what we're going to be talking today about is our macro community, so to speak,
Right,
Summerville.
yeah.
But a while ago, you asked me what?
I asked you, how are things going? I mean, how is real estate? How are things in Summerville or beyond?
Yeah. So here's my perspective: is while so many people think that the market has slowed down here locally, and maybe it has a tiny bit, but we're still seeing so many people move into our community.
Yeah.
Because we have the culture of what people think of as, they want to move to Charleston because of the historical nature of it. But then when they start looking at foundational values of a community, they land in Summerville, which is where the base of my business is.
That's how I landed here. We did about 12 years ago. My wife took a job with the College of Charleston, and we were looking. My first time to South Carolina was to look for a house. Okay, and we said, okay, well, Charleston, let's go look in Charleston and all this. And we said, well, somebody said, go look at Summerville. And I said, okay, let's go look at Summerville. I fell in love with it. The schools, the atmosphere, the parks, the people, and
right.
This is exactly what you're saying. It reinforces the fact that was our decision a dozen years ago.
Yeah,
so it's cool to hear.
But with that, the second piece, how is real estate? It has slowed down a little bit, but historically, not, from 3-4 years ago, post-COVID, it slowed down.
Yeah.
But the nature of, the transaction base here in Dorchester, Berkeley County, because Summerville, of course, spans across too, still thriving.
Good.
I guess if I could say one thing that would kind of encompass all of it, it would be thriving, because that's what it is from my perspective, and I'm in the mix of that real estate, each day. From your perspective, let's talk about that, because that's why you're here today. You're the executive director for the DREAM.
Yep. Yeah.
Tell us what the DREAM is.
So Summerville DREAM was founded in 1992, and it was founded because our historic district was 18% vacancy. So people were going to Walmart, they were going to the malls. It wasn't interest in it. And so the merchants all came together and said, let's start doing activities. Let's start doing things downtown. And so that was the impetus behind it. And so DREAM came to be. And over the years, it expanded and contrasted and went with the times. And today DREAM has kind of matured into a couple of different things. Or we still do entertainment. We do a lot of entertainment. We do a lot of events. So Third Thursday, the Farmers Market, Sweet Tea Fest, the Christmas Parade, so on and so on and so on and so on. But we also are working with small businesses in marketing. And so we use a lot of our co-op purchase, for TV time and for airtime and digital. And we do a lot of, we all the mobile IDs. I don't think of the word mobile IDs. And we're doing all these things, and so we're actually helping small businesses who can't afford traditional marketing outlets to be a marketing outlet. And then the third is that we're an advocacy and a redevelopment group. So we're working right now with entrepreneurs, with investors, with our elected officials to kind of combine different interests to find the win-wins out there, so that we're helping people reinvest not only in the downtown, but in small businesses all over Summerville. So that's really kind of the morph, the elevator pitch of DREAM of where we're doing right now.
Yeah. So why is it important? I mean, you have to work alongside of a lot of different, I would imagine the chamber, the town of Summerville. You've got to work with a lot of different entities to help the visions of the DREAM come to light. Tell me about working with the different components in town.
So I think that's one of the things, Ronnie, that's what's amazing about Summerville, right? Is that we're all willing to get together and work together. there's nobody pushing against an agenda item. Everybody has their specialties. Everybody has their goals, their tasks, the way that they function in the society. And so what we've been able to do is kind of help pull everybody together and be that we have no agenda above anybody else's. Mm-hmm. And so what's really great is that everybody comes together to help find solutions. And whatever specialty they have or whatever interest they have or whatever component they could bring to the table, they bring it to the table, which is really the Summerville way. And that's how we get things done. So I serve on the chamber board, and Rita, who's our chamber executive director, serves on my board. We all attend all the elected official events and meetings, and a lot of meetings. We have a lot of meetings, but we get a lot of stuff done, right?
Yeah.
And so we're working together to find those solutions and bring in folks like yourself and other professionals that are just right on the outside of maybe some of these conversations, and lend your expertise and lend your quality experiences to help find solutions as well. So that's really what Dream's role has been, and it's kind of cool because you get to have all kinds of conversations.
Well, you do. And if somebody were interested today in being a part of Dream, how would they get in contact with you guys? How could they get plugged in?
Super easy.
To the organization, yeah.
Super easy. So like everybody else, we have the greatest website in the world.
Yes.
You could go on SummervilleDream.org and you could find everything you want to find. But we have somebody who runs our social media for us, Jesse Schuler, who is phenomenal. So you can go on any social media and you can find Dream, Summerville Dream. And really what we look for is that if you want to participate, so there's lots of different ways. One, we don't have membership. I know it sounds like semantics. Membership allows for you get a cookie, you get a T-shirt, you get a tea time, you're a member of something, right?
Yeah.
We have what's called community partners. If you want to be a community partner, that means that you're willing to come together and help push that rock up the hill. We all work together. There's no tiered system. You can't get a fast pass. You can't get this, that, or the other, off of a Dream. And everybody, for whatever comes into it, we have an opportunity for them to contribute or be part of whatever they want. So whatever you put into Dream is what you're going to get out of it. You want to be a vendor at one of the activities, if you want to be part of the marketing component, if you want to volunteer to help other businesses. And so that's really the best way to, connect with Dream.
And so there's no exclusivity with that business partner, right? I mean, I think of a lot of organizations or community groups that you can have one real estate professional, maybe one insurance agency. But with Dream, y'all have an open partnership with lots of different businesses.
Correct. And actually, there's only two tiers: nonprofit and for-profit. Just that simple. And so the goal here is that if you want to be connected with it, then there's no one exclusivity to anything, and everybody's treated with the opportunity to be successful. And we have a lot of banks. We have banks that are all serving in the same capacities. Yeah. They're all serving. They all have a lot of different products, but a lot of similar things, and they're all controlled by the regulations that are handed to them. But at the same time, they all carve out their niche and how they want to present themselves and how they want to go forward with marketing and stuff. And so we help them with that. And it's been really kind of fantastic because we can cut through all the trauma sometimes and make it a clear blue ocean strategy for some of our organizations. So whether it's in real estate, or whether it's in banking, or whether it's in mortgages or anything like that, people find their silos that work for them.
In 3 to 5 years, what could you vision Summerville to be?
Right. Well, Summerville's that's a great question. Summerville is, I think, right now, Roni, is at a renaissance. I really do. I think it is. I think that we've kind of come through. We have such an extraordinary community. We have weathered a lot of different storms over 175 plus different years that Summerville's been in existence. And in about, another 20 years or so, we're going to be 200 years old.
Yeah.
So I think what we're finding in Summerville is Summerville still, number one, will remain Summerville and will remain and have its small town charm. Yeah. I mean, because we're based on that. Hospitality is number one in Summerville. If you really think about how Summerville came to be, with being a respite for folks and being the tourist destination, Summerville will always hold that. That's number one. Number two, you don't try and change Summerville. I'm a firm believer of that. I'm from off. I get it. I came from another state. But the first thing we looked at was to say, well, not how can we change this town? We chose to come here and be part of it.
Yeah.
So how can we, help it grow into the next, generation? How can technology is going to help do things? And how can we make sure that Summerville is not forgotten or left behind? Because our other communities around us are growing. I mean, there's 50 people a week coming to Charleston area, as you know.
Yes.
And so how do we make sure that we hold true to those values, that we do that? So those are important. That lays the groundwork, right?
Right.
So where are we going to go? We firmly believe that Summerville is a place of innovation, of creativity, of arts, of hospitality, and we can see a pathway forward where we have more technology development coming out of Summerville. We can see a place where we have innovation like hydroponic farming development that we're working on right now, coming out of Summerville. We can find a place where we know medical development and investments that are happening in our hospitals, in our care that are happening right now and are growing. That's going to come out of Summerville. We think that ingenuity, where we have a place where we're working with the Chamber of Commerce and we're working with our schools, where we have a place of creativity being developed. So you have, or some people call them tinker shops, or they call them innovation centers. That's being worked on right now. So I think Summerville in and of itself kind of morphs or grows into this next horizon of where the next, opportunities are going to be.
Yes.
Where young people, or my children who are in their 20s, are wanting to stay in the community or want to come back to the community.
So important.
It has to be. We don't want you want this to be that community of trust. I think you and I have worked on our schools together, and we have fantastic schools, and they're only growing and becoming more exciting, more opportunities. So I think that the vision for Summerville, I think that you're not going to, and I'll go back to what I said, and it's important to repeat it. Summerville is always going to be the community that it is. It's always going to be warm, embracing, friendly. It's going to be safe. It's going to be that community where affordability is going to be real. You can buy a home here. You can start a business here. But I think that what's coming out of it is this next great, renaissance of these things that we just mentioned that we can see a horizon for.
So, and that is important. You mentioned the schools, the economics. Yep. Tell me briefly about beautification, because we've had lots of conversations about that, and you have a great vision for that. Tell me briefly what you could, what that vision might look like for beautification, because DREAM is a part of even that, integrated within the vision of Summerville, because it matters.
It does matter, and I'm glad you asked that question, because it's passion. And a lot of people look at it and they say, well, why is that important? I'll tell you why it's important. It's important, well, first of all, in our namesake, is we're Flower Town in the Pines. Yeah. And so, the azaleas are fantastic, and we love them, but they're only here for a couple of weeks. We have great people in our historic district and all over Summerville that do beautiful things with their lawns and with their homes, and it's fantastic. But what we want to do is we want to make sure that your experience in Summerville is tactile in the fact that you're coming in and you're seeing it and you're feeling it in emotion, and re-landscaping and flowering is quintessential to that. So we're launching a plan. It's called Flower the Town. So Flower Town. We started this year by doing hanging baskets in our historic district, and we have an overlay plan that we presented to council to re-landscape all of downtown into a botanical gardens. So when you have this feel when you're walking down the street and you're seeing different flowers and they're changing out throughout the season, that we're connecting with that, and that we have this extraordinary landscape. We're also working with the town and with the county to go north on Main Street. So there's a new plan that the town that's worked on, and our state delegation has helped fund it, to take from the train tracks to 78 a brand new extension of Main Street. And so you'll have a corridor coming in there. And we recently just started conversations on the north end of town for our for 26 off our gateway coming into town. And as you exit, that there will be a brand new welcome area, brand new landscaping, heavy flowers and pedestrian friendly streets and landscapes. Now here's the other exciting part of the whole thing. This is what gets me jazzed. Is not only is it going to look phenomenal, because and Summerville deserves that, and Summerville, that's Summerville, is extraordinary. We have a I think Mayor Touchberry says we have a quality of excellence, and I like that, and I agree with that.
That is good.
And so what we need to be doing is that once you plant something, we have to take care of that, right? So we have a plan in place right now that we're working through with our friends at Beyond Basic, which is our special needs population that are doing workforce in our community and with our schools, to develop our own horticulture division, develop our own greenhouses, develop our own places for people to work, so the value of work is put forward, and that there's part of that is a public-private opportunity for us to maintain this landscape and to grow our own and to make that into that full circle type of thing. So we're very excited. Great plans.
Yeah, you really do.
Thank you. Yeah,
that's
going to be really cool.
That's why I brought you on today, is because you have a passion, a vision, a leadership, and there is a place within this organization and, quite frankly, this town for every single person that wants to be invested in it.
Absolutely.
So, again, the website is
SummervilleDream.org.
And they can reach out to you and get plugged in.
They get plugged in it, yes, absolutely. Everybody's welcome.
Well, thank you for the love that you have for our town here.
Thanks, Roni. Yeah, thanks for having us today. I appreciate you.
You're so welcome. This is Roni for the Love of Real Estate podcast. You can catch my podcast on all major platforms. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.